AI hype versus reality. What better way to kick off the revamp of this channel than to talk about one of the most important revolutions in our lifetime? This is a revolution that rivals the industrial age. And what better example to show how scaling with delegation will always trump the idea of AI taking everyone's job, AI making solopreneurs into CEOs, and AI, artificial intelligence, being able to do the job of two specific types of individuals that I'll talk about a little bit later in this channel. But I am Dean Soto. I am the founder of Prosulum, Prosulum. There is a space in between Pro and Sulum, but you'll see in this example that despite research, my amazing AI automation agent was not able to even put a space. And there's some really cool things. There's some amazing things that I'm going to share with you that I can show you is going to change the game for you, your business, how you sell, how you market, how you run a business, and some things that are going to protect you from the gurus out there who are saying that you can use AI for everything. And believe me, I've spent the last few months and over at least 2,000 hours over the last few years with AI since it came out. And I can tell you with 100% certainty that your job is safe if you're an employee, at least for the time being. And if you were a solopreneur and you were doing the majority of the work in your business, you are going to still be doing that. However, if you can couple AI with delegation, you can have a business that runs without you in such a cool and fascinating way that you were never able to do before unless you had millions and millions of dollars like Amazon.com. All right, so this entire presentation, aside from two things, one, a little image of one of my workflows that I have in N8N, which you'll see in just a little bit, and the very last page or not the very last page, but the page before that where I put in how to work with me and work with Prosulum. I put those little things in this. So some of these things I have not even read yet, but I'm going to show you how, with this great example, how on the one hand, AI is amazing when it comes to being able to create drafts, being able to do certain things, but it sucks when you want to have a fully finished product or fully finished workflow or fully finished system that you have to couple AI, software, and human intervention in some fashion or another. Okay, so this example presentation was completely done by ChatGPT Agent, which I think is a fantastic tool. It's probably the best tool that has ever come out with ChatGPT for ChatGPT, and I use it all the time. And a lot of people think it's worthless, but I have done some absolutely amazing things with it, and this is going to be one of them. But and things that have made me money, things that have won legal cases for me as well, which is pretty cool. All right, so that being said, let's get on with the show. So here we go. AI automation alone can't scale your business. AI hype versus reality, scaling with delegation, exposing the myth of autonomous agents and charting a path to sustainable skill. Brought to you by ChatGPT. All right, so the myth is that AI can run your business, that AI can is starting to become your administrative assistant. And trust me, I'm the very first one that would love this to happen. I love AI. And I know at some point in time it will be that way. I remember when I was giving presentations at Rework, I was talking at a couple of different reworks, and I was telling numerous individuals that, look, AI is going to start taking your jobs. And when I say that, what I mean is they're going to be taking 80 to 90%. And this is lawyers that I'm talking to. These are designers that I'm talking to, and so on. And they laughed. Well, the thing is that AI can do 80 to 90% of what lawyers can do. And I have the receipts to prove it with my own stuff. I have the receipts to prove design, all that other stuff. Now, can it do everything? No. But to the lawyer who, or the paralegal especially, who based all of their skill set on being able to draft up motions, being able to draft up interrogatories, being able to do case research, things like that, it's gone. It's starting to become gone. The myth, though, is that you can erase entire teams. And while that might be true for huge companies who are able to have massive data centers that allow for AI to process, if then do this, different huge workflows, process flows, things like that, yes. However, these massive workflows still cannot automate everything. This is why even in those big Amazon warehouses that have the robots moving things to things, they can pull things out, they can move. There still is human intervention within those systems. So while you might not have a massive amount of people, you're still going to need that intervention. Your business will never be on autopilot unless you have humans in the loop. Okay? Your business will never be no humans needed. Even with you as a solopreneur, you're going to have to make the decision, do I want to be that human in the loop, or do I want to be free from a job and actually run a business that is scalable? Okay. Hype videos, so cool that they put this. Hype videos show AI doing prospecting, selling, and delivering without a human in sight. And that's just not possible. It can get close, but not at this particular point in time in our revolution. All right. So overblown workflows. You'll see these gurus that have, you might see these gurus that have these workflows that are just layers and layers and layers and layers and decision trees and all over the place. And it literally is taking up the entire space of this, of their, let's say, N8N workflow or make.com workflow and so on and so forth. Generally, those are either not true, and you run the risk of trying to use it and it not actually work, or they are not what are called agentic workflows. They're not real AI making decisions. It's routing based off of filters. It's let's say it's a lead that comes in. Does the lead have a Gmail account, or does the lead have a company account? If it has a Gmail account, then go this direction. If it has a company account, then go this direction. Is the lead already in our CRM? Then go this direction. If not, go this direction. That's not an agent looking at what's happening and making decisions. Okay. And you'll just see these workflows that are all over the place. But in reality, look how, just with this particular workflow, you have like lead capture, and then you would have the actual AI prospecting that lead and reaching out to them. And then they go back and forth on email. And what happens when during that, this is AI creating this, by the way, during that AI negotiation, the lead asks something, the prospect asks something that the AI doesn't understand, and it breaks. This entire thing, you just lost a potential client. In fact, I had a which I'm not sure if I'm sharing. No, I'm not going to show this particular workflow, but I have this customer enrichment workflow. And what it does is when a client comes in, a prospect comes in, it will actually do research. It'll do web research on that client, and it'll find everything about that client from LinkedIn, from web, from people, what is that called? People Labs and all these other things. And I created it because I wanted my sales team to have as much information about the prospect as much as possible. Well, I had it to where the agent could email it had a tool to email rather than just creating the email and then sending it the agent could not decide not to send the email. There's a difference between the agent being able to go, okay, all right, I'm going to send an email to so-and-so, and it's going to have this, this, and this. There's that versus forcing it to send an email through the actual workflow. So I had given it the choice to send the email to the person as a tool, and every now and then it would not send an email. It would go through the entire process, and then at the end it would say, yeah, I'm sending this email to the sales guy, giving all this customer information. And I go and look, and it actually didn't send the email. 80% of the time it would send the email. And one of the more recent ones was that it ended up sending the prospect an email with all of the prospect's information. And then at the end, it's like, hey, yeah, so I'm happy to jump on a call with you. What time do you have? And it started the AI tried to start selling and get the prospect onto a coaching call or a discovery call, even though the client was already on a discovery call, already had set up an appointment for a discovery call. And needless to say, that prospect was confused. One little break and everything else breaks. Okay. One failed right here, what the AI says, one failed API call or prompt hallucination, which is exactly what happened. It hallucinated and thought it was the sales guy, can break the chain. Okay. Here's the reality. AI right now is very narrow and very brittle. Models excel at pattern recognition, but fail and they fall apart outside their training domains. One weird question or one odd question, sometimes it can completely hallucinate, which it does quite a bit. It needs oversight. You're going to run into things where it cannot make a decision or will not make a decision, or if it makes a decision, it's a completely fabricated decision. Okay. And then you run the risk of you actually run the risk of putting AI in a spot where it can make or break a deal, which is exactly what happened when mine hallucinated. The people got it, and they ended up not moving forward because they're like, I don't understand. Like, is this what I'm getting with a VSA from ProSulum? It's some AI thing. And no, it's not. Our VSAs are like virtual assistants on steroids, and they create processes, and they're perfect for this, which we'll talk about later. So it's not a magic bullet. AI is not a turnkey solution. In fact, it can cause a lot of issues until you put yourself or your team in the loop. It's rapidly evolving. It's still, it still needs the right problem, the right data, and skilled teams to work. Keep in mind, this is AI telling you this in this presentation. This is a 99% AI driven, all the stuff that you see. You have to start with the problem and not a shiny tool. You have to invest in infrastructure and governance. You have to build cross-functional teams with deep expertise. This is how companies scale. Can you save a ton of money using AI? Yes. Can you create some amazing workflows? Yes. So for me, like my customer enrichment workflow, my sales team doesn't have to spend an hour going and finding information about this client. Right when the client comes into sets a discovery call, if you go to prosolum.com/schedule, you can do that. You're going to see that, you won't see it, but my sales team will immediately get a huge email with all this data about the prospect. And that email is used during the sales call. Well, after the sales call, it takes the Zoom transcript and it gives tips to and follow-up emails and things like that to the salesperson. How did you do? Did you follow our sales framework? Did you do, and it gives all this stuff about the sales call in general, and then says follow up with this email, follow up in 2 weeks with this email, follow up, whatever it might be. But the sales guy still has to do that. With AI, often you're not going to get an AI that can hop on a call, close a deal, and then afterward know exactly what they're going to need to do, set all these reminders and things like that. Is it possible? Yeah. I mean, you do have big time software that you can use that's going to be expensive. You might as well hire somebody else because AI is changing so fast. You can set up workflows very quickly and easily. All right. So, Industrial Revolution. During that time, people thought, machines they're going to take jobs. And they did. They took a lot of crafting jobs away. The machines were able to boom, create. But if you look at the assembly lines, who were the ones that were running the assembly lines? Who were the ones that were checking the products that were being made on these assembly lines during the first Industrial Revolution? It was humans. Even there, it had to be, certain things had to be checked. You couldn't leave the machines to do everything. This is no different. Okay. The Industrial Revolution automated weaving and factory work, but new roles emerged operating and maintaining machines. Today's AI similarly automates routine tasks while human expertise remains essential. Okay. Which we'll talk about in just a bit, one of my heroes, Jermaine Griggs, talks about different types of automation when it comes to marketing automation specifically. But the best is having this hybrid of AI, software, and humans. You can use AI and software to gather information about your client, and then and humans can then deliver customer happiness. Progress is built on collaboration between humans and machines, humans and software, humans and AI. Even AI can't learn to spell. You're going to see like personalized with an S. You're going to see this, for whatever reason, it just did not want to use Z in this on any of these where it should be a Z. Personalized products and services require human insight. Training and interaction are essential to harness cobots. Okay. You have bots that are working with each other, and then you have humans in between. Okay. So scaling personal attention. Marketing automation is about scaling personal attention. This is my hero, Jermaine Griggs. I will always sing his praises. He taught me that you gather all this data about your your prospect, and then you can deliver exactly what they need. Okay. Automation personalizes interactions, not depersonalizes them. You can get as much information. Imagine what it's like if somebody comes into your lead capture. They get your free report, they get whatever it is. They come into your lead capture system, and when they do, your bots go out and they find everything about that person. They go to your CRM, and you have all these custom fields like industry. You have it goes and looks at their social, so finds all their social, Facebook, writes notes about their preferred method of communication because they're always on Twitter. It looks at their Twitter profile, or it looks at their Facebook or whatever to find their birthday. So now you know when their birthday is. So then you can send birthday cards. It goes and it finds out who their favorite baseball team is. So now you can send baseball team gifts, or you know that they like baseball, not just their team. You know that they like baseball. You know that they like sports in general, whatever it might be. Now you're able to find all this data about the person. So then, just like a good friend would, you can then give them an experience of being a good friend. Your good friends know about you, and they know they enjoy being able to give you the things that you enjoy. You can free yourself from repetitive tasks so you can show up where it matters. That's the other cool thing, is that these repetitive tasks, like, they go away with AI. All this data seeking, or all of this, the drafting of emails, or the drafting of marketing materials, things like that. But that frees you up to be that good friend to your client. And then you can use data and triggers to give customers the right message at the right time, which is so cool. So prosulum, there should be a space there, but I am going with everything that this dang awesome AI chat GPT agent put on here. So prosulum, PRO space SULUM.com. Go check that out. So we have VSAs. They're virtual assistants, but they focus on process documentation. And so what we do how we take advantage of AI is we'll have all these different workflows. Let's say a customer buys something. Well, when the entire customer experience is, they come into they schedule a discovery call. AI goes, grabs all this information about the customer, sends it to our sales team. The sales team now knows how to deliver happiness to the customer, because the customer is coming in because they have the problem. They have a problem because, they want to get things off their hands. They want to scale their business. They want somebody on their team that is far less than minimum wage, who outdoes most administrative assistants in the United States or in Europe or Australia, New Zealand. They have amazing expertise at a fraction of the cost. Not only do you give them a task, they'll document that task. So they come in, the prospect comes in, says yes, or maybe even says no. My sales team gets their post Zoom call analysis email and follow-up instructions and things like that. Then let's say the customer does say yes. They come in and they pay they pay up front. We have a 30-day money back guarantee. They pay up front, and we have a workflow that then an AI workflow that then goes and gives information to the onboarding team. And then the onboarding team goes and onboards the client. And then there's just workflow after workflow, AI after AI, where it goes from AI to client, or AI to our team, and team to our AI, back and forth, back and forth. So ultimately, at the end of the day, the customer gets their VSA, and they can do what we do. Because the thing is, when AI on our team executes something, what happens? A process is then followed by the human, by our onboarding team or our hiring team or whatever. There's an actual documented process. Our VSAs, my team they're also VSAs, they've had already created a process documentation. So when AI pings them and says, "Hey, this person's brand new, they're on," my guys follow their process, and then they pass it back to a workflow or pass it back to an AI. And so there's this synergy that happens. That's what a VSA does. It documents your process. And so whether it's with AI, whether it's with software, whether it's human, it's all documented, it's all automated, and then you can delegate. You can from there, your team handles everything, or your VSA handles everything. So you have AI and a human working side by side. Something messes up, you fix it, and then you say, "Hey, document this process again because here's the fix." Right? You're not documenting it. The VSA is documenting it, and then they're doing the tasks. It's pretty dang amazing. Go to prosulum.com to find out more. So combining AI models and agents, and then you're allowing these things to happen, and then you have human delegation, right? They're the ones are really in the center of all of this, the center and the end. You have AI models and agents doing all the heavy lifting, and then you have the humans providing judgment, creativity, and empathy. Okay. So if it's just you and AI, or if it's just you, AI, and software, sorry, but you're still a solopreneur, and you're still going to have a job. You're running a job that you get. Yes, you get to decide pretty much when you want to work and stuff, but this is why Bezos and Elon Musk have, you think that they only have Tesla and SpaceX, like Elon Musk. He has like 13 other companies. Bezos has like 20 other companies. How is he able to be the CEO of 20 different companies? Well, it's because documentation and delegation. It doesn't matter what software comes in, what AI comes in or out. It's documented and it's delegated. And you can't delegate without documentation. You can, but it's going to suck and it's not scalable. Documentation and delegation. So best practices if you want to become that actual CEO, even in this AI age. 1, start with the problem. Define the challenge before choosing tools. You're going to assess your infrastructure and build governance before scaling AI. And how do you do that? By actually doing the work and figuring out, oh, there's going to be an issue here, there's going to be an issue here. Verify outputs and manage risks, assign oversight, invest in training and cross-functional teams. You're going to delegate routine work, focus human energy on relationships, which is huge, and then document and optimize your processes with VSAs. You don't have to do it with VSAs. You don't have to. Virtual Systems Architects from prosulum.com, www.prosulum.com. You could document it yourself. I've tested this out. If you do a 5-minute video and you pass it on to your VSA, you as the CEO just spent 5 minutes of your time, and then you've had your VSA document. If you were going to document that same task that took 5 minutes, it takes about an hour of your time to document. Okay. Would you rather spend 5 minutes, or would you rather spend the hour? And then who are you going to document, and who are you going to delegate that to? No one? No. Yeah, that sucks. Okay. Have a VSA, document it, do a 5-minute video, let them document it, and then they do the task, and then they'll do it over and over and over again. That's how you become a CEO. So this is one of my workflows. This is my Zoom call analytics, not Zoom call analytics. I call it the Zoom sales call analyzer. Okay. So it starts over here with a webhook from Zoom. Zoom is really odd because it has this thing where every so often it sends a thing to the webhook to make sure that this is like it's like a, what's that called? A round robin encrypted key. Okay. So every like 3 days, it sends a thing to this webhook that redoes the key, the cryptography. And then here it goes, if it's not that cryptography thing, it'll go and it'll analyze, hey, is this Zoom call that just came in with one of the sales team? If it's not, it'll just stop. If it is, then it'll get this transcript, it'll extract the transcript, it'll do like an OpenAI, I think it's O4 mini thing, and then gets the summary of that. And then ultimately it goes over here to the AI agent and creates all of the to-do lists. It creates I have it like in the AI, basically say, hey, be like an Alex Hormozy and give a sales call recap. And it'll give action items, it'll give emails, it'll give all these things to the sales team. It'll think we have our own Supabase database here where it gets all of our information from our company and then sends the sales guy actionable things. As time goes on, I'm going to actually add more to this where it's putting this into different CRMs and all this other stuff. But essentially, my sales guy gets a phone call recap, a sales call recap, action items, motivation, and it actually gives a calculated score of the likelihood of the actual prospect closing as well. So it'll say the likelihood of this prospect closing after this call is 40%. Therefore, you should email within the next 2 hours this and this and this, the next 24 hours this and this, and in the next week this and this. And so in the future, I just haven't done this. I've had this for a couple months now, but in the future I would have those emails put into an actual CRM. The problem is that I found is if you use the tools, sometimes it will hallucinate and it will put the wrong things into the CRM. So right now it's purely human intervention when it comes to the sales team, and they've done a good job. It actually has helped out a crap ton, which is great. All right, so get off the hamster wheel. AI makes solopreneurs faster hamsters. Delegation gets you off the wheel. This is from AI itself. They came up with this, and I love it. I'm going to use it every video. AI makes solopreneurs faster hamsters. Delegation gets you off the wheel. Okay. You will always, the key differentiator between scalable businesses is process documentation and delegation. You cannot delegate well without process documentation. That's where a virtual systems architect comes in from prosulum.com. You got this. You can go to prosulum.com and start delegating based off of documentation. Stop running faster on the same wheel. Build systems and delegate to scale yourself. Thank you, AI. I couldn't have said it better myself. So, manifesto for sustainable scale. Reject the AI hype cycle. Build systems that scale personal attention through automation, delegation, and human insight. Your business isn't a machine. It's a network of people, processes, and technology working in harmony. Ready to scale personal attention? Go to www.prosulum.com/schedule. Thank you, AI, for building this entire presentation other than two. So this is the other, I only added this right here, this HTTPS www.prosulum.com/schedule. AI did the majority of this, but if it were me, I would have changed this. This is all messy. I would have changed some of the stuff in there. Oh yeah, and this is the other thing I added. But it still required my judgment to even move forward with this particular presentation. If you have any questions, go to www.prosaloom.com/schedule. Would love to hop on a call with you. Would love to talk more about AI and how it can help your business, but more importantly, how you can work with a virtual systems architect for a fraction of what it would cost to even hire a paid intern or a high school student, and you have somebody with skills that are college level quality, past college, past entry level, documenting everything, and can crush it for your team and help bridge the gap between AI and your software, and be that judgment within your organization so you can fully step away, let go, make money while you sleep in your business. So if that sounds good to you, go to www.prosaloom.com/schedule. This is Dean Soto, and I will see you in the next video.